On February 10th, 2017, the world lost a phenomenal owner, a great man, and a great friend to the family of the city of Detroit. He loved the city of Detroit so much. He loved hockey, he loved baseball, he even loved pizza. I'm Jonathan Knight, and we send our condolences to the Ilitch family. And this is Eagle Sports Insiders. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Eagle Sports Insiders. Jonathan Knight, Michael Kermy, Evan Hensley here. It's been such a quiet week around the state of Michigan, the city of Detroit, with the passing of Mike Ilitch on the 10th of February over the weekend. The world lost a great man. The Wings owner, he bought the Wings in '82, bought the Tigers in '92, and he also is a franchise owner and owns Little Caesars Pizza. I had a chance to meet with the family yesterday afternoon when I was downtown Detroit before the Wings game, and it was great just to get to see the family, talk to Chris Ilitch and the entire Ilitch family. And it was a great scene downtown. Guys, I tell you, I know you guys didn't get a chance to get down there, but give me your thoughts on Mike Ilitch and just, with the passing of what he was considered the greatest owner in sports.
I mean, yeah, it's really hard because you look at not only just what he's done for the city of Detroit, but what he's done for the Red Wings or even the Tigers. This guy has won so many championships. I mean, he had several with the Wings. He won with the Tigers. And it's very tough. It's a very sad time for the city of Detroit and for anyone who's a Detroit fan, just in general.
Talk to me about Mr. Detroit.
And as somebody who's not from the area, I don't feel the impact as much as others, but I can see it in everyone. I can see how much of an impact he has made to the people of Detroit and the sports fans of Detroit with his passion and love for the Red Wings and the Tigers.
Yeah, I tell you.
I'm sure it was hard for him, the Tigers, not to pull it off a couple years ago when they were really in their prime.
2012.
But I think they're going to come out and try and play for him this year.
Yeah, and I know that's the feeling with the Tigers down in Lakeland getting ready for spring baseball. And I know that they have really spoken very much about that this season is going to be for Mr. I. Most people know him as Mr. Detroit, as the I in Ilitch is the I in Detroit. And it was very, there's a big applause for him last night during the Wings game. And we'll get into the Wings here later on in the show, but let's switch topics and let's get into EMU men's basketball. And I tell you, 5 games they've lost straight, and I tell you, this is going to be one of the hardest parts about this to talk about. And I tell you guys, I just don't get it. I don't know. We've talked about this several times. I don't know what they've got to do to get the job done. They get in foul trouble. They're not doing anything right. And I tell you, we talked about this earlier, but I think the season might be over for the EMU Eagles men's basketball team.
Yeah, it's really tough because, in the beginning of the season, we were expected to be the winners of the MAC. That truly was. And as an Eagles fan, as for you all watching, I mean, I'm sure if you watched their season throughout the beginning, you all saw a team that truly had the chance to win it all. And lately, their defense is lacking. They don't have the scores that they need to. 5 straight games losing. You are not going to make a deep run if you can't find the momentum later in the season.
You're third at the bottom in the MAC overall.
Yep.
You add the East and the West together. You were picked to finish first and win the West. I did a little research over the week, and I tell you, teams that are picked to finish in the top and win their divisions, win their conferences, win any of that, usually struggle. I remember Michigan, the Wolverines were picked to win the Big Ten championship in football. They They didn't do that. They started struggling, and they did that. I don't know what's got to change, what needs to happen, what you have to get done, but I tell you, they're going to struggle going into Western this weekend.
I mean, we're talking about maybe the necessary need for a possible coaching change. And, as hard as that is to say by me, I like Murph's a great guy. He's been great for this school. Mm-hmm. But Heather Lyke hasn't really missed on many coaches.
No.
And I think she might have to bring somebody in. I'm not calling for his job yet, but I think I just don't know. It's unacceptable for how they've been playing. There's way too much talent. We're talking multiple senior guards that are all playing awful.
Correct. And let's take a quick look at some of the highlights from this past Tuesday's game when they took on the Ohio Bobcats, which they were looking to pull out a sweep against them in the season. But I tell you, on Valentine's Day, the Bobcats came into the Convocation Center and took a bite out of the Eagles. And it was it was a tough game to watch, but the Eagles seemed like they wanted to come back there towards the end of the game. They made it 26-26 to go into the end of the first half, and they trailed there with a good amount of time left, but they pushed it with the last few minutes.
Yeah, and the biggest part is they were hitting threes, though. Mm-hmm. That's what really kept them close, was Willie Mangum hit threes, even Ty Toney was hitting threes. The problem was Ray Lee really struggled. He could not make shots.
And you see, Willie Magnum had no points in the first half. He puts up 19 in the second half. We'll talk a positive note. James Thompson, he did something that a lot of people thought he would possibly do this year. He got up there. He had his 14th career double-double on the season, and he now is tied one of the Grant Long for 33rd for 4th overall in the career of double-doubles for 33. And we'll take a look at that in a second. We'll take a look at the standings here. You're going to Western, which you should win that game, and you're 5-8. I mean, EMU has had a perfect opportunity to run away. You could run away with the MAC. It's only a 2-game swing, but nobody's really grabbing the West Division by the horns and running with it. It just seems like the Eastern's just sitting back and letting people come in, and they haven't won at home since they played Western. So now you're going to Western, you're going to go into their house, and you haven't even won at home since the last time you played Western, and that was 30 days ago.
Yep.
I mean, something has to change when they come back home next Saturday to play NIU. You got to get something, and you got to make a change.
And that's the thing with NIU. They're 6-7 for MAC play, and Eastern's 5-8. Mm-hmm. We are right there with them. We can jump ahead of them with that win, but like we said, I mean, in the beginning of the season, everyone thought Eastern was going to win the MAC.
Correct.
No one really was noticing Akron, though. Akron's 12-1. I mean, they were very good.
Akron's always had a good team, though.
Yeah, you're right, but no one was really talking about them.
No, they seem like
they're
they were
22-4 in the season, and no one's really talking about them.
Yes.
The focus was on Eastern and how stellar they were playing. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well,
I'm not sure how they'll do it.
I mean, we're looking at a team that should be dominant on defense, and it's not.
Yep. You're not playing any defense. And like you said, sorry to cut you off, but they're not playing defense. And I know we had somebody out there that got a quick interview with Coach Murphy. Let's take a quick look at that interview with Coach Murphy after the game on Tuesday.
Well, I give Ohio credit. They made plays down the stretch when we didn't. I thought we struggled throughout the game offensively. Didn't take great shots and didn't make easy shots, and that's a recipe for a bad offensive game. I thought we played good enough defense to win the basketball game, but anytime you don't score the ball, you put yourself in a bad position. Midway through the second half, it was a tie game, a 2-point game. We had a chance if we make a few shots to pull away, but we never made those shots. We allowed Ohio to stay comfortable and stay in the game. They made a few shots at the end and won the game, so credit to Ohio. Yeah, we have to be consistent with our positioning on the floor. Sometimes when you're out of position, you try to react, and when you react, you end up committing a foul if you're a step late. So he has to be better with that. And moving forward collectively, we just have to be better as a team on offense and defense in order to win. It's a tough conference, very good players, very good teams, very good coaches. So when you don't compete on both ends of the floor for 40 minutes, more times than not, you'll come out on the losing side.
And really, it's just like the inconsistent offense, like I was saying, and the defense. I mean, this is a team that's known for their defense. They should be playing awesome on defense, but they're not. I don't know if it's a personnel issue. I think in the middle they're strong defensively, but at the guard spot,
What is the key to win at Western on Saturday?
James
Stepping-
Thompson.
Ray Lee. Ray Lee's got to drop.
Ray Lee, James Thompson.
Ray Lee's
Somebody's got to step up.
got to drop 15.
Got to drop. Another double by James.
He's got to stop
Great.
fouling.
And you got to stay out of foul trouble. You got to stop getting technicals.
Yes,
Two
because-
technicals on the night. I mean, that's a
Yep.
little ridiculous.
Because those are shots.
yes.
Those
All
are,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
see.
All right. We're going to talk more about that when we get back. We're going to take a quick short break when we come back here on Eagle Sports Insiders. I'm Jonathan Knight, Michael Kermy, Evan Hensley here hanging out with you today.
In today's cyber world, the number of passwords you have to remember can be overwhelming. While it may be tempting to reuse the same passwords or store them in a not so safe place, in doing so, you're putting your online accounts and data in danger of being compromised. The Eagle security package includes LastPass, an encrypted online password vault that can store all your usernames, passwords, and other personal information in one location. LastPass secures your login credentials using one master password, the last password you'll have to remember. Not only does LastPass store your login credentials, but it can automatically fill them in when you're logging into trusted websites. LastPass can also aid in the creation of strong, unique passwords and secure sensitive data such as addresses, credit cards, and personal notes. Since LastPass is encrypted and protected in the cloud, it's accessible wherever you are through the LastPass website, a web browser extension, or the mobile app. LastPass makes password security easy. For more information about LastPass, visit tiny.emich.edu/LastPass.
All right, we're back here on Eagle Sports Insiders. I tell you, Kermy, last time I was at the Wings game, that was some of the sloppiest play of hockey I have seen in a very long time. The Wings are struggling, and the St. Louis Blues decided to come into town, and they went on one of the longest streaks they've had this season. They've won 5 straight on the road, and now the Blues get to go home. But the people who were singing the blues last night were the Wings, and I tell you, it was not fun walking out of Joe Louis last night.
No, and that's the biggest problem. The Wings are so inconsistent this year.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's our defense, if it's our offense. First off, I'm going to start with the goalies. All right? Mrazek's in net, and when you have Mrazek, and Red Wings fans, you know this. If you have Mrazek in the net, you're bound to give up at least 2 to 4 goals a game. It's just going to happen.
But he gave up no goals. He gave up. You want to talk about that game last night? The only reason that the Wings only kept it 1-0 up until the minute that they pulled Mrazek was because Mrazek played out of his mind. I mean, he was pulling moves that literally just standing there watching that looked like they hurt from a point of it. He was making plays. He kept them in there. But why the reason they didn't score was because when you go on a 3-on-2 down the ice in the second period, you got sloppy play. You put the puck to the outside and then you need to push it to the middle. Mrazek last night wasn't the reason they've been playing crappy.
No.
It's the defense. It's the offense. Nobody's pushing the puck to the net.
No, but my point is, it does have to start with the goalie too, though.
It
You
does.
have to keep the puck out of the net, and his save percentage this year is awful. It's
Yes.
just awful, and it really hurt us with Jimmy Howard being injured. I mean, Jimmy Howard truly was, from the beginning of the season until now, he was the stonewall that the Wings were looking for.
Yes.
The difference is, when Howard's in net, we can't score.
Correct.
When Mrazek's in net, we can't score enough. He'll give up 4 goals, but we'll only score 3.
But
So
which way is it, though? It's
that's the problem. We need the scoring that we have when Mrazek's in net while Howard's in net.
Correct.
And we are winning these games. Now, personally, in my opinion, I think we need to bring Howard back. We need to keep Coro, and we need to send Mrazek back to the Griffins and let
you
him
can't
work
send
on
him
it.
back, though. See, that's the thing is there's no sending him back. You have to put him on waivers now, and you have to then let him get picked up, which that's going to happen. You
You're
can
right.
You're always going to keep 3 goalies up. You're always going to have a healthy scratch. So you want to look at, all right, Peter Mrazek has played 34 games. He has a save percentage of .901. That's not great, but that's not horrible.
Well, what's his goals against?
Goals against, he's at 3.04.
And that's my point.
I know, that point, I
and that's the
understand
problem.
that.
And if you look here at Jimmy Howard, he's a 1.96. And
Correct.
that was from games where the defense let him down. Because in the beginning of the season, for like the first 10 or 12 games, I think, he had the best save percentage in the NHL.
Yes.
He had the fewest
Yes.
goals against. Now, that does come down to our defense. And I have a very unpopular opinion with this, but I personally think one of our best defenders this year is Jonathan Ericsson. The guy does
But now
make
he's
the
out hurt,
mistakes.
though.
You're right. And a lot of people are happy and they think that's going to help. I don't think that's going to help. He's a big body and he does play the cleanest defense. DeKaiser isn't. Mike Green is an offensive-minded defenseman. And Cronwall, no offense, he's just getting too old. He is, and he's not producing.
Why do you think that they're looking at possibly picking up Shattenkirk for next year, being that his contract comes to an end with
But
the
we
Blues?
need to get rid of Cronwall, in my opinion.
Well,
We
Cronwall is
have
going to retire. He's
hope.
beat up. I mean, that's a guy. I believe his contract's coming to an
You're
end.
right.
But when you look at this in the Wings, this is a time to sell. The Wings season over with. They're in 27th place in the NHL. They're at the bottom of the barrel. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it again. I love my Wings. I love my Red Wings. But I'll tell you right now, the biggest thing that's got to happen is sell, sell, sell. Sell who you can. Sell what you got. You're not going to have Nyquist now for 5 more games since he's out because of the penalty. And you need to sell. And you need to focus on the supplemental draft coming up. You need to focus on getting a top 4 draft pick, which you have not had in 47 years.
Yep.
The Wings have not drafted a top 4 draft pick in 47 years. We've made the playoffs for 25. We're done with the streak. The streak is over, everybody. Get rid of the streak. We're done with it. Streaks are meant to be broken.
Start a new one.
It's time to start a new one when we get to a new arena. So let's start a new one. We'll have a year off. Great, dandy, all good. But let's go into this year's draft in Philadelphia and get a top 3 draft pick. It's just worth it. I don't know, I don't understand what anybody, it's not about getting the goalies. This is a year, you have these years. I've seen lots of teams do it. And you hear a guy talk about wanting to, they can make a run. Sure, this time last year, this weekend, on Saturday, the Penguins made a run. They started making their run, and you know what they did? They won the Cup, but the Wings can't do it. This is not the same team that the Penguins had last year.
I think you summed it up. You need to just need a clean house. I mean, 26 on offense and defense when it comes to goals and goals against. That's absurd. You're not proficient in almost anything right now. 11.8% on the power play. That's, man.
It's bad.
It's bad. You can't.
We're 30th.
There's no quick fix to this. This is you're going to have to rebuild. You're going to have to. This is going to be. Your Red Wings are not going to be good for more than just a couple years. It's going to be a while.
It is a rebuilding year. And the thing is that you have to realize, too, is we're going into a supplemental draft year. We have the new Las Vegas Knights team coming in, the Golden Knights, that are going to add it. So you're going to lose some of your players. So it is a rebuilding year. The Wings need to take advantage of the supplemental draft. They need to take advantage of a crappy season and just go with it. Finish in the bottom and just be done with it. So that's really all I got for you.
I think just the direction. You need to look at what the Blue Jackets have done.
Yep.
I mean, this is what they've done. They traded Johansson last year. I mean, look what they've done this year.
Yeah.
It's absurd. I mean, I can't believe how good they've been.
And we can't beat them. And then this Saturday we play the Capitals. So in reality,
that game's going to be.
That's a loss.
You might as well not even.
Guess what you got next?
That's
Pittsburgh.
brutal. Yeah, and then the Penguins, which we did beat them the last time we played them, which surprised me. But our offense-wise, terrible. Nyquist, honestly, that's someone that we got to trade. And I would like to say trade while his stock is high, but his stock isn't high anymore.
No, his stock is
It used
not
to
high.
be, but he goes on streaks where he scores, and then he goes on streaks where, no offense, he's a bum, and he can't do it.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick short break here. When we come back here on the Eagle Sports Insiders, we're going to talk NBA.
Yep.
And I tell you guys, I don't know about you, but we were arguing about this beforehand. We're going to talk what? All-Star, we're going to talk a little bit.
The East, the West,
West.
and whether or not the Cavs are now a shoo-in to go to the finals with the big pickup that the Toronto Raptors made in Serge Ibaka.
And maybe a little LeBron, too.
And a little LeBron. Maybe play a
hard
little
not to-
violent.
yeah, it's hard not to
you
talk
can't
about
not.
that.
You talk NBA, you're going to talk LeBron. So, all right, when we come back here on the Eagle Sports Insiders, we're going to get deep into the NBA. I'm Jonathan Knight. Kermie Hensley. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Are you an EMU student interested in getting a first-hand experience working at a radio station? Well, say no more. EMU offers a class through Eagle Radio that will thoroughly prepare you for a real-life experience. But first, you have to register for the class. Pick a date and a time slot. Then the world is yours. Eagle Radio allows you to be fully independent and customize your own show. Have real conversations about the news, celebrity gossip, update listeners about the weather, play a trivia game. It's your show. You're free to name your show whatever you want and play any edited music of your choice. If you love having heated debates and you feel your words need to be heard, then Eagle Radio is just for you.
All right, welcome back here, Eagle Sports Insiders. Let's talk a little NBA. And it's All-Star Weekend. It's a great weekend here in the NBA. Gives the guys a little bit of break. It should be fun. But let's talk about the East and the West. Focus on the East right now. Where are we seeing, with the trades that are going on and everything that's going on here, where do we see teams filling out here going into the All-Star break, coming out?
Nothing's made any sense for the past couple weeks. I mean, the Wizards are on fire. They are, my opinion, the hottest team in basketball. Do I think they'll compete for a title? Honestly, no. I mean, John Wall's a really good player, but I don't think he can will that team to a championship. But outside of that, in the East, I mean,
You've got the obvious choices. You've got
the Celtics.
the Celtics, who are playing much better ball, which is pretty impressive considering their only guy is Isaiah Thomas. But now the team that I want to focus on, who just made a big-time trade, and I'm sure if everyone has watched basketball, you know this, Serge Ibaka is now on the Toronto Raptors. That is a huge void that they just filled at the power forward spot. You have Kyle Lowry, you have DeMar DeRozan, and now you have another star down low
To go
with
along
Serge
with Jonas
Ibaka.
Valanciunas. I mean,
Yeah.
that's gonna be awesome. Patrick Patterson will be able to come off the bench now.
Yep.
I mean, you lose Terrence Ross, which he honestly didn't pan out. So you lost him in a first-round pick. That first-round pick isn't really gonna mean anything.
No.
Do you thoughts on the Drummond and Jackson talk trades for the Pistons? Is that smart for them to trade, or do they need to pick up? Like, go get Melo.
It's not going to happen. Well, that's definitely not going to happen.
That's not
They are
gonna
not
happen,
going to
we
get
know
Melo.
that, but-
And that's mainly because they just don't have. So say you want Melo. Who are you going to give up for him? You're going to give up Reggie Jackson? Okay, well, then you're completely wide open in the point guard position. You're not going to give up Andre Drummond. Andre has had a down year, but he is still one of the top offensive centers in the league. He does need to work on his defense, but he's young. He's a young guy. He has a chance. Now, I don't see them trading either of them. I think, they're not going to be very high up in the draft, so they're going to get a decent pick. In my opinion, I like KCP. I think they need to focus on the small forward position. I really do. And then maybe strengthen their bench in the second round. But like we discussed, the two teams in the East right now are the Cavs and the Raptors. And I no longer
What
think
about
it's
the
a shoe-in.
Celtics?
The Celtics couldn't step up to either of them.
They're a one-man team. I mean, Isaiah Thomas is the most undervalued player in the league.
Yep.
And just because of his size. I mean, the guy's so gifted. But I just don't think they'll make a run. Al Horford hasn't really panned out as well as they hoped.
Carroll is he's a good small forward, but he doesn't play up to the potential that he could be. He could be one of the top small forwards, but he struggles. And then then you got the Cavs, who you have LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love.
But now, what
Korver.
about what do you do to fill that void with Love out hurt right now? Do you just not deal with it? You don't worry about it?
To be honest, I think you could possibly move LeBron to the power forward spot and then start Korver at the small forward position. That if you were looking for a quick fix, that's what I would do, because LeBron can still post up any power forward in this league. You can post up anyone in this league. It does not matter. He is the man in a league full of boys. He just is. Now, we'll see. Now, if we look at the West, obviously Golden State. But there are two teams I think could knock them out in the playoffs just based on how well they can do in the playoffs. One team, the Spurs,
obviously.
And then the final team, in all honesty, is the Clippers if they can stay healthy. If they can stay healthy, they are a tough matchup, and they proved it.
What
They
about
have proven it.
What about the Houston Rockets? Do you see at all do you see Houston finally getting over that hump of getting to maybe the second, third round?
I mean, with Houston's they're going to win at least one round, but they're a lot like the Celtics.
I mean, they're going in at the third seed right now. It's playoff started right now. They get the third seed, and they're going to take on the Grizzlies. So that's good matchup. They could get through that.
The Grizzlies are sneaky good. Their defense.
their
But like you were saying with Houston, I mean,
You have
one-man
James
team.
Harden, and then who else? Ryan Anderson.
Maybe Patrick Beverly, who is a good defending shooting guard, even though I'm still surprised that he is their shooting guard. But we'll see. Like you said, one-trick pony. If you can shut down James Harden, you shut down their team. And if you shut down the three ball, you completely shut down
I mean,
their
James
team.
Harden's my MVP, but
Ooh,
what?
Russell Westbrook.
Oh, dude, no.
Hands down Russell
If
Westbrook.
I mean, you have to, though. He had another triple-double last
In
night. How do-
29 minutes, it was the third fastest this season.
I mean, how do you not give if you're going to give the overall season MVP? How do you give it to Westbrook? You're not going to give it to LeBron. You're not going to give it to anybody on Golden State. I mean, you give it to him. He's got another triple double. I mean, you have to think about these things. That it's especially in that he's done every single thing he deserves to have it. I mean, he's carried the
James Harden's almost there too. He also does it more efficiently. When Russell Westbrook is out playing good games, I always look at the turnovers because, I mean, Golden State, he had as many turnovers as the entire Golden State team did.
But it's really tough to compare anyone to Golden State just because of how phenomenal they
they're
are.
so efficient.
But
That's why
you
I
have
love
to
them so
look.
much.
James
so
Harden
good.
turns it over just as much, and the difference is, and I will stand by this till the day I die. James Harden doesn't play defense. He doesn't.
No.
He doesn't know
I think
how
it's
to play
improved.
defense.
It's improved.
It's improved, but it's
significantly.
still bad. It's still bad.
I mean,
and then
Russell
you look.
Westbrook's not that.
He's a much
superstar
better
either.
defender,
I mean, he's better,
and he's
but-
much more of an explosive player. James Harden's finesse, Russell Westbrook is explosion.
All right.
And that's what I love. And like I said, the West, you've got Golden State, and then it's the Spurs and the Clippers, in my opinion, with Houston right there if they can hit the threes.
I got a little secret one coming. The Jazz have been one of those really quiet teams this year.
Yes.
And they've
35 and
played.
22.
They just
Gordon
played the
Hayward's-
Clippers, and even though they lost, they held the Clippers to 89 points. It was a 72 to 89. I mean, they are strong defensively, and they're a very slow-paced team. They're not going to let you score because they're not going to score really fast. They are going to take their time. They're going to get it down low to Rudy Gobert, who is hands down the best defensive center in the league. Hands down.
Or they're going to put it in the hands of Gordon Hayward, who is an all-star
go.
for the
Yes.
first time in his career. Well-deserved.
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 Well, I don't know about you guys. I'm looking forward to the All-Star game this weekend. I
yeah.
think it should be quite interesting to see Westbrook out there. Do you think Coach Kerr might put him out there with all the rest of the guys and some of the guys he doesn't like, like his boy KD?
I think so. And I think he won't pass it to KD even once. I truly do. I think he will end up with a double-double or
Hey,
even a possible
is it-
triple-double. He will not give that ball to KD even if Coach said he would bench him. He will not do
It's
it.
going to look like a playground out there. But, hey, that's all the time we have here this week. Thanks for joining us on Eagle Sports Insiders. We'll be back after spring break.
And if you enjoyed the show, be sure to check it out on our ETV programming and YouTube at EATV at EMU.
Have a good break.